This is the zip file you will get. Make sure to unzip that and you will get this ICO folder. In that we have the entire source code of the project. So this is the folder you have to open in your VS Code. So here I have my VS Code and I have opened that particular folder. So this is the entire source code of our project. Now let me give you a quick walkthrough that what are the things we have included and how we have designed the architecture. So there are a lot of things happening in the project, but I'll show you the important things where you can do the replacement and you can launch it as soon as possible. So the very first component section we have is this one component. In that we have all the different components we are using. So this is the about, brand, contact, donate, FAQ, feature, footer, header, hero, and here we are importing all the component in one center place, and then we are exporting and using our home page. Then we have the loader, honor, we have the pop-up, progress, roadmap, sidebar, team, token, token information, transfer currency, transfer token, update address, update price. So all of these components we have here inside the component folder. And here we have the context. In that we are doing all the magic of our application. So in that the very first file we have is the constants. If you come back in here, we are using these three packages. I hope you guys are pretty familiar with that. Then we have this API of the two different contract. So this is the API of our normal ERC20 token. So this is the API of our ERC20 token. You don't need to do any changes in that. And here we have the API of our contract, the ICO contract, which allow us to sell, buy and token. So this is the entire API. I'll show you if you make the changes, then what are things you have to do. So come back here. So here we have the API and here we have the two demo token which I have taken for showing you the examples, token A, token B. In case if you already have your own token, all you have to do is to simply replace the address. That's the only thing you have to do. And here we have the owner of the contract. So I use the account number 2 for deploying the token. That's why I keep this address here. And this is the ICO contract address. So for clear. And here we have the network section. So literally you can deploy this contract to any network, Binance, Arbitrum, Polygon, Ethereum. I'm testing on Polygon MOI, but you can literally deploy to any other network. So right now you will see I have bunch of network which I have already configured here. That's all you will find, including the local host as well. So for example, if you want to deploy to Binance, so I have called this BSC. All you have to do is to give the chain ID, check the chain ID. And this is the name. You can call whatever you want because this name is going to reflect in the MetaMask. Here you have to give the name of the chain, the symbol and decimal point, and here you have to provide the RPC URL. So this is the one of the website I would recommend you to check for a RPC URL and click on this. This is one of the powerful website which will provide you RPC URL for different blockchains. So like Polygon, Binance, Ethereum, Blast, Phantom, Arbitrum, all the network which you can see, you can simply pick that particular RPC URL and that's what you can provide. So if you want to deploy to Binance, so click on the Binance and here we have the test or mainnet. So if you want to go with the mainnet, simply copy that one and that's what you have to provide here in the RPC because this RPC is very important. You have to provide the relevant RPC. And that's the information you have to provide. You can pick any EVM compatible, make sure to provide this relevant information and you are good to go. So once you provide that and once you decide to pick a specific network, simply copy that particular network name. You can call whatever you want to this name and simply copy that one and that's what you have to provide here in the handle network switch. So when you provide that, no matter which network user is connected, it's going to automatically configure this detail in the MetaMask so the user don't need to do configuration manually. For example, let me show you. So if I come back to the MetaMask and right now you can see I have this network configuration, but what if the user don't have this one? So this particular feature will automatically configure and add this network and switch the network to the network where we have deployed our contract and where we have a specify. So this is the entire network configuration which you can do and you can deploy to any network. Hope things are clear. And here we have some regular function which you don't need to worry about it because here you don't need to do anything. These are the some regular function we have. Simply close this one, come back to the index and here you will find all the thing we are doing. We are using all of these packages. Here we have the constants and here we have the DApp name. So if you want to deploy to Binance, you can change the symbol and it will change in all the places. You can change the network, it will change in all the places and you can call whatever you want to your token. And you don't need to do anything in here. So here we are fetching all of these details from the contract and that's what we are sending. So you don't need to do any changes here because every single thing is dynamic. Same goes with the buy. So this one is also a dynamic one. Here we have this function for withdraw token. So this function will allow you to take the entire token out of the contract. Here we have the update token. This will change the token address. This will change the token price. Here you can able to click and receive the donation from this function. Here we have the transfer ether function, and here we have the transfer token function, which is a global one. And that's all we are exporting from here, so we can utilize it. So that's all we have here in the index file. You don't need to do any changes in here. All you have to do is to simply provide the contract address right up here, your ICO contract address, and here you have to provide the account which you will use to deploy your contract, and these are the demo which I have already explained you. So that's what we have in the context. So simply close this one. Now come back to the contract. In that we have two different contracts. First one is ERC20 token. You can literally create your new token. If you don't have, you can simply use remix ID to deploy. I'll show you how we can do that. So this is the entire smart contract for our token ICO. So here we have the last function is withdrawal. Then we have this transfer ether, transfer of honor, which is the donation one, and here we have this particular function called get token details. You can build this function in the front end, but it is better to build in the smart contract, so you can calculate all the pricing, all the details internally within the token ICO contract, so it will not create any conflict. Here we have the buy function. Here we have the multiplier to tackle the overflow and underflow, and here we have the update pricing and update token. This can only call by the owner of the contract. So this is what we have in our token ICO contract. So if we come back to the pages, in that we have three different pages. So first one is app. Here we have done the configuration for all the JavaScript libraries. Here we have managed our context management. We have done the import, and we have taken the toaster for displaying the notification message. Here we have the 404. So if there is no page, then we have to display this 404 error. Then we have this index. So here we have the import from React. Here we have all the import we have done from the component folder. Then we have this context management. Then we have the short address, which is coming from utils. So inside the utils, we have this two function for convert time and short address. You don't need to do anything in that. And then we have taken all the functionality we have built in our context management, like getting token details, buying, all of that. Then here we have the state variables we have taken for opening the models. Here we are fetching the information from our contract, and that's what we are displaying in our front end. Then this is the honor component, in which we had passing all of these hooks, all of this data, so we can display in our component. Then this is the pop-up component, in which we are allowing the user to buy the token. Then we have the token transfer component. Here we have this transfer currency, means transferring ether or MATIC to any wallet address. Then we have the donation component. Then we have the update price. Then we have update addresses, and here we have our header. We have built couple of logic in that as well. This is the sidebar we have. This is the hero section, where we are simply connecting wallet, setting the amount, loading details. That's all we are providing. The progress bar, that's all we are providing. And here we have all of the component. So if you want to do any editing about the details, you can simply do that. So for example, I want to change the details in the about component, so I can come back here, I can go to the about, and here I can simply replace all this text. So you can display your token information, or you can simply go with the exact one. There is no problem here, so you can go with the exact one. Looks good. If you want to change the images, you can simply change the images very easily. So you can simply come back here in the public folder. Inside the public folder, you have this assets. Inside the asset, we have the images. Inside that, we have multiple folders, so you can check in which folder we are. So you can simply create your own folder, and from there you can simply provide the images. Got it? It's pretty straightforward. I have built this architecture so you guys will not confuse. So this is what we have in the public folder. Now close this one, come back to the style. So here we have done all the imports of our CSS file, and here we have written couple of custom CSS for loader and all. That's what we have. Then you have seen the utils folder. This is the utils folder we have. You don't need to do anything in here. Now simply close this one. This is the next config. You don't need to do anything. Let it be like that. And here we have the instruction which I have provided to all of you guys. So once you will get the final source code, how you can do that. Obviously, I'm going to explain that also in this particular video, so you don't need to refer to this. So simply close this one. So this is what exactly you will get in the final source code. Now you have to follow the exact step which I'm following right now, from installation to deploying the contract and replacing the addresses and putting into the contract some token. So first thing, open up your terminal. And here you can see I'm into this particular directory. The very first thing I have to do is to install all of these packages. So all of these packages we are installing. I'm using XCS, Web3 model, React icon, toaster, and we have this Ether, Dove, and FormSpare. So this is what I have all here. So let's install the package. But before we install the package, I would suggest you to check your node version. So type node node-v. So currently I'm using this node version and I'm not having any issue. Same goes with the npm-v. I'm using this particular version. So no matter which node version you are using, whether you are using the latest one or the old one, first try to install. If you get any error, then I would suggest you to simply downgrade or upgrade your node version to this and it will work absolutely fine. So I'm going to simply clear my terminal and I'm going to install all of these packages. Simply type npm I, hit enter, and it's going to install the packages. Here I'm getting a couple of warning that it's saying that I have to use this particular node version to use the latest version of Next.js, but I'm going with the old one. I don't have any issue with the old one. I'm going to simply clear my terminal. So I have cleared my terminal. Now I can simply start the application. So here we have the script called dev. So type npm run dev. Here our application got started. So when you will get the final source code, I would suggest you to simply install and run the application because the contract is already deployed and I have already provided this address here. So it will work absolutely fine. Even you can buy the token which I have provided in my ICO. So before you deploy the contract and change the address, let's test this out. We already did a while ago deploying our contract. So first thing I'm going to close this one, and here I have this particular two contract. So this is the ERC20 token contract. So if you already have your token, then you can simply use the token for an ICO. But if you don't have token, so you can simply take this one. You can use remix ID for deployment, which I will show you, and you can simply provide the address. So let's come back here. Let's deploy this token contract because I already have my token. That's what I'm going to use it, but I will show you both the examples. So all you have to do is to simply select and copy. And again, I want to tell you, if you make any changes in your smart contract, then you have to provide the updated API of the smart contract. You have to replace with the updated one. So come back here. We're going to replace. I'll show you how you can replace that. So simply select all, copy. Once you copy that, come back, open up your remix ID because we're going to use remix ID for deploying our contract. So here we are back on remix ID. Go to the contract section and make sure to create a file. If you don't know, you can click on this and you can create a file with this Sol extension. But I already have this ICO, so in that I'm going to simply paste. So I'm going to simply select this one, remove, and I'm going to paste the code. Just click OK. Right now we don't have any issue in our code. Everything is working absolutely fine. You can see it's got successfully compiled, and here we have our contract. Now come back here in the deployment section, click on this, and here you have to click on this injected provider. So here we have these two options because I have two wallet, Phantom wallet and MetaMask. You can pick any wallet, but I would suggest you to go with the MetaMask. Click on MetaMask and you have to open your MetaMask and make sure you have to pick the network which you want to use for deploying your contract. I'm going to use this Polygon test network, so that's why I'm selecting this one. And I already have this much fund. So if you want to deploy to Polygon and if you don't have this fund, so let me show you how you can get that, because this fund you need to deploy your contract. If you don't have fund, you will not able to deploy the contract. So click here and type Faucet. Click on the very first link. You will come here and from here you can claim free Faucet which you can use for testing your contract and deploying to Polygon. Right now I'm getting this option to connect Discord to get token. I have already connected my Discords and authorized myself and joined their community. That's why you can see I have this much token, Faucet token. But when you will come for the very first time, it will tell you to join Discord. So click on this. It will take you to the authorization page of the Discord. There you have to click on authorize. And once you authorize, it will tell you to join the Discord. As I have already joined there, that's why it's automatically redirect me here. So from here you have to change the network. So we're going to use this Polygon POS and I have to paste the address which I want to use for getting the Faucet. I'm going to use this account number 2. So I'll simply click on this and I'll paste here and click on this submit. This is going to transfer the fund, this much fund, to my wallet address. So click on this confirm and probably the transaction will fail because I have done the transaction in the morning. That's why you can see I have this much fund available. But in your case, the fund will come back to your wallet address. So once you have the fund, now you are ready to deploy the contract. So come back to the code and here we have already selected the network and this is the account which I'm using, the account number 2, and I have enough fund in that so I can use to deploy the contract. So now come back here, and all you have to do is to select the contract. So right now we have this 2-1, so click on this, and this is the one we have to pick, token ICO. Click on this deploy. It's going to deploy our contract to the Polygon network. All you have to do is to simply confirm the transaction. You can see the transaction in the pending state in your MetaMask. Once the transaction will complete, it will give you the interface of your contract. So you can literally interact with your ICO contract right from Remix ID. So if you open this one, in that you will find all the function we have here. So from here you can easily able to update your token addresses. You can update the token price. That's all you can do right from here. So our ICO contract successfully got deployed. Now I'm going to simply click copy, come back here, close this one, and we can come back here, constant, and here I have to provide the new address. So I'll simply take this one and replace. This is the address which I have got just now. I have deployed my contract. So this is the first thing. So if you already have your token, then you can simply define the address of the token and the price from here. Define it from here for the very first time, but after that you can simply change it from here. So what I will do, I'm going to simply come back my code, and I'm going to use the same existing same token. So this is the token I'm going to use. Simply copy this one, come back here, and I'm going to provide it here. Make sure you are connected with the MetaMask with the same network where you have deployed. Don't need to do the changes or reload the page. Simply click on this transaction. Is going to open the MetaMask, and here we are setting up our token in our ICO contract. So this is the first thing you have to do. Once you deploy ICO contract, you have to set the token right from here. Got it? That looks good. Our token got successfully set in our contract. Now we have to set the price of our token. So come back here, and we have to call this way to way converter. Click on the very first link, and you have to provide the price in terms of way. So here we have this calculator. So I want to set my token price to be 0001. This much price I want to set, and you have to take this way, copy this one, come back here, and that's what you have to provide here, and simply click on transaction. So this is the price we're going to set for our token. Whenever someone will purchase, this much fund they have to pay per token. Click on confirm. So these are the two things you have to do. Once you will deploy the ICO contract, you have to update your token address and the price. If I click on the MetaMask, the transaction went through. Transaction successfully went through. Now if you have their token and they want to create token and then put for an ICO, so that's also a very easy process. I have given you this smart contract. All you have to do is to simply select, come back to the Remix ID, and here we come back to the file. Make sure to create a file and call whatever you want. So I'll say erc20.sol. Hit enter, and that's the code I'm going to paste here. You can call whatever you want to your token. So for example, I'll say Amit Kandu and say AG, whatever you can call to your symbol. And this is the supply I want to provide. And the moment I will deploy my token, I will be the signer, means the account I'm using will be the owner of the contract. So this particular account will be owner of this particular token. You can put any supply. So if I copy this one, and if I take you back to here, way to converter, if I paste here, you will see that I'm putting this much supply to my token. But I can increase this and decrease this, so I'll go with this one. I'll simply copy, and that's what I have to simply provide here. So this supply should be in terms of way. So this is the supply I want. You can simply come here and paste how much, check how many supplies you want to provide. So I'm going to go with this number. So simply copy this way, and that's what you have to paste here. So all set. Now all you have to do is to simply come back here, and here we are already connected with the same network, and this is the token which I want to deploy, the blockchain coder. That's the contract name. Now click on this deploy. It's going to open the MetaMask. It's going to open the MetaMask. Click on confirm, and here we are deploying our token. Once the token will deploy, it will give you the same interface and all the function for your contract. So here you can see we got the interface. We can simply interact with our token right from here. So copy the token address, come back here, and that's what you can simply provide here. So I'm going to simply say replace this one, and I'll say C token C. Token C. This is the token which I'm going to sell right now. The artifact you will find this particular one. Here we have this token ICO, and that's the ABI we need. So simply copy this one, come back here in the code, and that's the only thing you have to replace here. So select all of this, delete and paste here. So this is the updated ABI of our contract. So if you make any changes in your ICO contract, make sure to provide the updated ABI, and this is how you can get. So whatever name you have called to your contract, that's the name you will get as an ABI, and you have to simply copy, and that's what you have to paste. And you don't need to do anything for the ERC20 ABI, because this is the global ABI we have used, and it is compatible with all the tokens. So you don't need to replace here. It will work with any token. But when you make any changes in the ICO contract, make sure to provide the updated ABI, and this is how we can do that. So looks good. Looks good. We have provided this, and now we can use this particular token to sell. Once you deploy your ICO contract, make sure to update your token address which you want to use it, and the price. These are the two things you have to do now. Code, and this is what exactly you will get. Everything is working absolutely fine. So I hope you guys have understood that what's coming up in the project and how you have to build, what are the architecture we're going to follow, what are the things we have in the project. So this is what you will get in the final source code, and this is what exactly we're going to code. So if you have any question, any doubt, do let me know in the comment section. I'll definitely try to help you and respond to that. So with that, I'm ending this video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.